Today, we are going to look at a very important topic here in biology, which is digestive system in man. Okay? In this video, we are going to look at what digestive system is all about, the meaning of digestion, mechanism responsible for digestion, how food is digested in the mouth, in the stomach, in the small intestine. Okay, all these are what we're going to look at in this video. Okay, then if you are a jambite watching this video, please don't play with this topic because it's a very important topic as far as jam is concerned. Last video we look at digestive organs, or which I described in the video as alimentary canals in bird. So here we are going to look at that of man. Okay, what is digestion? Digestion is the process which involves mechanical and chemical breakdown of food substances into their simplest unit for absorption. Okay, digestion is the process which involves mechanical and chemical breakdown of food substances into their simplest unit for absorption. Okay, this absorption here, this is the process in which the food substances, that is the digested food substances, are taken into the blood stream. Okay, the digested food substances are taken into the blood stream, and this is the essence of digestion. Okay, I said that this process here involves mechanical and chemical breakdown of food. That is to say, the food are broken down into different phases. The first one here is mechanical, followed by chemical digestion. Okay, the mechanical breakdown of food involves masticating or mastication, involve peristalsis, and involve contractility of the walls of the stomach or intestine, which enables to break the food and mix it with digestive juice. Then the mechanical breakdown here involves the use of enzymes, which we refer to as digestive enzyme. Okay, that is the chemical process of digestion. Okay, in mechanical process of digestion, every digestion of food mechanically starts in the mouth. Okay, with the effect of teeth, which we refer to as masticating. Okay, every food digestion mechanically starts in the mouth. Okay, while the chemical digestion varies, and this is based on the presence of this enzyme, where they are found, where they are more active. Okay, now digestive system here, which is the topic on the whiteboard here, digestive system in man, we are going to look at different organs because systems here are formed by group of organs. Do you understand? Systems are formed by a group of organs. Okay, you can say that digestive system is the system of organs or group of organs that works together for effective breaking down of the food substances into their simplest unit for effective absorption of nutrients. Okay, when these food are broken down, it will be absorbed into the bloodstream. Okay, and now, why do the body absorb this food into this bloodstream? So as to supply different cells in the body, the cells of the brain, the cells of the heart, liver, lungs, okay, different parts of the body, including the muscle cells, with sufficient food and oxygen. That is the essence, the reason why blood circulates around the body. And every food that is digested in the body must be taken into the bloodstream so as to supply different cells of the body with this food and oxygen, which is used to produce chemical energy in form of adenosine triphosphate. And this energy is utilized for metabolic activities. Okay, so now we are going to look at this system here in man, which is responsible for breaking down of the food substances in the body. This is the complete digestive system in man. Okay, digestive system in man. Here is the mouth. This is the mouth. The mouth here comprises of the teeth and the tongue. Okay, it comprises of teeth and tongue. These two are responsible for mechanical digestion. Then here is esophagus. This is esophagus here. Here is the stomach, the liver, the gallbladder, the pancreas. Okay, this here is the duodenum. Okay, this is duodenum, and the duodenum here is U-shaped. That is U-shaped duodenum. Okay, the duodenum here is the first part of small intestine. Look at the part of small intestine. Part of small intestine, the first part is duodenum, followed by jejunum. The next is ileum. Okay, ileum here is the longest of the small intestine. Duodenum here is the part where most food digestion ends. Okay, this part is responsible for effective digestion of food. It's responsible for effective digestion of food, and this is where most digestion ends. Okay, jejunum and ileum are responsible for absorption of nutrients. Okay, but most nutrients are absorbed in the ileum because ileum is the longest part of the small intestine. So because it is the longest part, it will have more room for effective or sufficient absorption of nutrients needed by the body. Okay, most nutrient absorptions takes place here in the ileum. The first part is duodenum, jejunum, and ileum. Take note, small intestine, it is called small intestine because of its small diameter. The diameter here is very small. It has very small diameter compared with large intestine. Look at large intestine here on the board. As you can see, large intestine has larger diameter. Now, small intestine here, not in the picture. I'm talking of the real small intestine and large intestine we have in the body. In terms of length, small intestine is longer than large intestine, and the essence is for effective absorption of nutrients. Okay, so small intestine is longer than large intestine. Now, what are the parts of large intestine? The parts of large intestine here, we have the duodenum, the jejunum, and the ileum. The ileum connects to this part of large intestine known as cecum. This is known as cecum. Then the cecum is joined with appendix. Appendix here is a vestigial organ. Vestigial organ in man. We have this in JAMB. Past question. It's a vestigial organ. Why do we classify it as a vestigial organ? It's an organ that has no function in the body. It's a useless organ. Okay? That's why it is described as a vestigial organ. Then here is ascending colon. Here is transverse colon. Descending colon. Sigmoid colon. Rectum. Anal canal, and anus. Okay? Another name for large intestine. Another name for large intestine is colon. Colon is another name for large intestine. Okay, we have it here as the cecum, which is jointed with the appendix, which is the vestigial organ. Then we have ascending colon, the colon that is ascending. That is the part of large intestine that is ascending. If you look at it, starting from the origin, okay, this is ascending colon, and this is transverse. This part here is the transverse colon. Then here is descending colon, sigmoid colon that connects with what? Rectum. The rectum continues here as anal canal, which ends as anus. Now, man has double opening in the GI tract. Okay, the digestive system of man comprises of mouth, which is the opening through which the food enters, and here we have the anus, through which the undigestible food particles are removed through the process known as ejection. Okay, the food particles that are not digested properly in the body are removed out from the body through the anus, and the process of removing these undigestible food particles in the body is known as ejection. And that is why feces is not described in JAM as a waste product, because feces is a product of undigestible food particles which are produced after digestion, because they are not effective. Though we have some other waste products that are found present in the feces, okay, because these ones are produced from certain chemical reactions in the body. Now, let's look at the part of this large intestine in the body. The first part, as I described, from the ileum, it connects to the cecum. Cecum is the first part, which is jointed with appendix. It connects to ascending colon, transverse colon, descending colon, sigmoid colon, and the rectum. This is the first part. This the second, the third, the fourth, the fifth, and the sixth part. In some textbook, appendix is included as part of the large intestine. Okay, now we're going to look at how this food digestion occurs at different parts, at different organs of the body. And that is also to say the role each of these organs plays in the body during digestion. In the mouth, the food is broken down with teeth through the process known as mastication, which we popularly refer to as chewing of food. Okay? In this process, the food larger molecules are broken down mechanically into their smaller pieces, at which it will be acted upon by digestive enzyme produced in the body. Okay, and these digestive enzymes are fluid. Okay, they are fluid in the mouth. Okay, the gland that produces them is known as the salivary gland, and we have three salivary glands in the mouth, which are parotid gland, submandibular gland, and sublingual gland. Okay, the largest among these three is parotid gland. Take note of that for your exam. Okay, the three salivary glands in the mouth are parotid, submandibular, and sublingual gland. And here is the parotid gland. If you open the mouth, okay, we have the tongue here. This is the tongue. We have the tongue. Here is the teeth. Okay, this is sublingual, this is submandibular, and this is parotid gland that secretes saliva, which help to facilitate digestion of food chemically. Then here is esophagus. Before the food passes down through the esophagus to the stomach, okay, the saliva is secreted to mix with the food which has been broken down with teeth. Okay, and when the saliva mixed with the food that has been broken down with the teeth, it will form ball of mass. Ball of mass of food. And this ball of mass of food is known as bolus. The food will be in this form of ball, okay, before it will now be swallowed down through the esophagus. Then this part here is known as the cardiac sphincter. This is the cardiac sphincter. Okay, here is the stomach. The food stay in the stomach for about 3 to 4 hours in the stomach. Okay, then this part of the stomach here, this part, you can see the line here. Okay, this is known as the greater curvature. This is the greater curvature. Okay, based on the curve. Then here is lesser curvature. Lesser curvature. Then here part of the stomach is known as the fundus. Fundus is the part of the stomach that is constantly empty. It is constantly filled with air. Okay, the food don't reach this part of the stomach, the fundus. Okay, then here is the pancreas. We have the gallbladder, we have the liver here. The liver, the gallbladder, liver here produces bile. The liver produces bile. Bile is produced by the liver, and the cell in the liver that produces this bile is hepatocytes. That's the cell in the liver that produces bile. Okay, then this bile produced by the liver are stored here temporarily in the gallbladder. Okay, now during digestion, the bile that is stored here in the gallbladder are emptied into the duodenum to facilitate digestion. Okay, then this sphincter through which the food passes through to enter the duodenum, this sphincter is known as the pyloric sphincter. As you can see on the board now, we have two sphincters here. This is the inlet and this is the outlet. All right. The inlet is known as the cardiac sphincter and the outlet is known as the pyloric sphincter. Pyloric pyloric sphincter is here on the board. Okay. Look at the spelling here. Pyloric sphincter. The first one here, the first one is cardiac sphincter. Okay, then the food here we pass down through here. Then the pancreas here will secrete its enzyme known as pancreatic juice. This is the pancreatic juice. Is released, okay, so that it will facilitate, it will place its role of digestion here in the small intestine. And this part of small intestine, which I mentioned earlier, is the duodenum, and the shape is U-shaped, okay. Then the food nutrient will start to be absorbed, okay, in the jejunum and in the ileum. I told you before, ileum here is the largest part of the small intestine, and because of that, that is the site for effective absorption of sufficient nutrient in the body. Okay, then here in the large intestine, water and electrolytes are absorbed. Okay, water and electrolytes are absorbed. Okay, then there is production of some useful substance in the body like biotin, vitamin B12 and vitamin K. They are produced by bacteria which are found living naturally in the large intestine. Okay, vitamin B12, which is known as cyanocobalamin, okay, and vitamin K. Vitamin B12 is responsible for blood production. It is responsible for blood production, okay? And this process of blood production is known as erythropoiesis, okay? While vitamin K is responsible for blood clotting. Okay, if you go through your past question, you were told that lack of vitamin K causes hemophilia. Okay, hemophilia is the inability of the blood to clot over wound to stop excessive bleeding so that much blood will not be lost, okay, during minor injury. So all this on the board here are the mechanisms and the roles they play during food digestion. Now, we are going to look into digestion of carbohydrates, digestion of proteins, and digestion of fat and oil, and the roles this digestive mechanism plays during this digestion. Okay, I have to wipe the board because we don't have sufficient space for all this. Okay, now we're going to look at digestion of carbohydrates. And here, just as I discussed before, every mechanical digestion starts in the mouth. But here, we are going to look at the chemical digestion only. Okay? Now, carbohydrates, as we know, in the mouth, the saliva is produced by the salivary gland, okay? And the enzyme produced in the salivary gland, which is responsible for digestion of carbohydrates, is known as amylolytic enzymes, okay? And these amylolytic enzymes, they are popularly known as amylase, okay? These are amylase. Now, this amylolytic enzyme, which I describe here on the whiteboard as amylase, is produced by the salivary gland, okay? They are found mixed with saliva, okay? And this is known as salivary amylase. It is known as salivary amylase. Now, what are their effects in the mouth? This salivary amylase here, their effect in the mouth is that they act on starch and convert starch to maltose. Okay, starch is a typical example of polysaccharide, which we've discussed before in one of our old videos. Then here, maltose here is an example of disaccharide, which we discussed also as a double sugar. Okay, it is known as malt sugar. So in the mouth, salivary amylase will act on starch and convert it to maltose. This is not the final destination. Okay? And not all starch are converted to this. Okay? Now, here is the esophagus. By the time the digested carbohydrate in the mouth mechanically are mixed with this salivary amylase, it will form into ball of mass, which we describe as bolus of food. Down, it will be swallowed down. It will be swallowed down, moving down here into the stomach, where it will stay for few hours, like 3 to 4 hours. Okay? Take note. Saliva here is highly alkaline, and carbohydrate digestion is not effective in acidic environment. Okay, so here in the stomach we have parietal cell that produces hydrochloric acid as an acid here. It means that the stomach here is highly acidic, and digestion of carbohydrate is not effective in acidic environment. Okay, so the gastric juice produced in the stomach is not effective for digestion of carbohydrates. In that case, you can say that there is no chemical digestion of carbohydrates in the stomach because the stomach is highly acidic. Okay, bile is also released here, which empties into the duodenum. Duodenum, as I said before, is the first part of small intestine where most digestion of food end. Now, the pancreas, this is the pancreas. I've labeled this before. The pancreas will produce pancreatic amylase. Okay? And the pancreatic amylase here with the intestinal juice. This intestinal juice produced by the small intestine is known as succus entericus. Okay? And these succus entericus are maltase, lactase, and sucrase. Okay? The maltase here we act on maltose and convert maltose to 2 molecules of glucose. It will convert it to glucose and glucose. Okay? Then the lactase we act on lactose and convert lactose into glucose and galactose. Okay, then sucrase react on sucrose. Sucrase react on sucrose and convert sucrose into glucose and fructose. And most of the carbohydrate we consume contains more of glucose and fructose. Okay, galactose is obtained from milk. So most of the carbohydrate we consume contains higher amount of glucose and fructose. And the small intestine, the pancreatic amylase, and these succus entericus has the ability to convert the fructose and galactose back to glucose. Okay, the fructose and the galactose can be converted to glucose, which is the simplest unit at which the body will absorb. Take note, all of these, glucose, galactose, and fructose, are examples of reducing sugars, which refer to as simple sugars or hexose, which are typical example of monosaccharide. They are known as hexose. We've done this before in one of our old video. Okay, so now in the small intestine, this is where digestion of carbohydrates stop, where carbohydrates are broken down into their simplest units for absorption. Okay, digestion of carbohydrates starts in the mouth mechanically, where the starch are converted to maltose. Okay, by the time they move down here to the stomach, to the small intestine, the pancreatic juice is released by the pancreas to work together with the succus entericus released by the brush border of the duodenum so as to convert these carbohydrates into their simplest units. Remember, there is no chemical digestion of carbohydrates in the stomach because stomach is highly acidic and carbohydrate digestion is not effective in the acidic environment. Okay? Now, next, we are going to look at the digestion of protein. Let's look at the digestion of protein in the body. Okay, protein on the board. We all know that protein is bodybuilding food, right? Protein here is bodybuilding food. And protein digestion is best in the acidic environment for so many reasons, which I will describe here in the video. Okay? And these protein enzymes here, which is responsible for digestion of protein, proteolytic enzyme. They are known as proteolytic enzyme, which is known as proteases. They are known as proteases. These are the chemical substance or the digestive juice that are responsible for breaking down of protein into their simplest unit. Okay, these proteolytic enzymes are not produced in the mouth. Okay, they are not produced in the mouth. You know that the saliva is highly alkaline. Okay, you see another point now. Saliva is highly alkaline. Remember, I told you that protein digestion is best in acidic environment. Then carbohydrate digestion is best in alkaline environment, or you can say alkaline medium. Okay, so there is no chemical digestion of protein in the mouth. Okay, because there is no proteolytic enzyme or there is no proteases produced here in the mouth. So the protein here will be swallowed down into the stomach through the esophagus. Then here we have the sheath cell. The sheath cell of the stomach produces two proteases, and the proteases are produced in form of this pepsinogen and renin. In this form, it is inactive. Remember, parietal cell produces hydrochloric acid. Now, what are the role of this hydrochloric acid in the stomach? The hydrochloric acid here is known as enzyme activator. Okay, it is the enzyme activator that activates pepsinogen. Okay, then the hydrochloric acid is responsible for breaking down of bacteria that affect the food. They are responsible for breaking down of bacteria or digesting bacteria that affect the food in the stomach. Okay, then this pepsinogen here is inactive. Okay, now this is the pancreas. Okay, here is the pancreas. The pancreas here produces pancreatic juice. It produces pancreatic juice. And this pancreatic juice consists of pancreatic amylase, pancreatic proteases, and pancreatic lipase. Okay? And this pancreatic proteases, trypsinogen. Okay? Here is the trypsinogen produced by the pancreas. We have it here. Trypsinogen. Okay, the enzyme activator of this trypsinogen is not the hydrochloric acid in the stomach. Okay, now here is the duodenum. The brush border of the duodenum provides another digestive enzyme that is specific for this trypsinogen, and this digestive enzyme is known as enterokinase. Okay, this is the enzyme activator that acts on trypsinogen. Take note, this trypsinogen here and pepsinogen, the two are examples of proteases or proteolytic enzyme. In this form, they are inactive and they are known as zymogen. Zymogen are inactive enzymes, okay, and their suffix name always end with ogen, that is ogenes. Okay, take note, glycogen is not an example of zymogens. Okay, though they end with ogen, but glycogen is not a typical example. Examples of these zymogens, which I described on the whiteboard as inactive enzymes, are pepsinogen and trypsinogen. We also have another one produced in the small intestine. The pepsinogen here is produced by the Schiff cells in the stomach. Then the trypsinogen is produced by acina cell of the pancreas. Okay, then a racinogen is further produced in the small intestine. This is a racinogen produced. Okay, now one, 2, and 3 are zymogens. Now the hydrochloric acid acts on this and convert it to pepsin. Okay, it converted to pepsin. I hope you are following, right? Okay, then trypsinogen is activated by enterokinase produced by the duodenum. This is produced by the brush border of the duodenum. Enterokinase is an enzyme activator that acts on trypsinogen and converts trypsinogen to trypsin, as we have on the board. Now, during protein digestion, renin here works best in the acidic environment, okay? And we don't have renin in adult human. Renin are mostly produced at fetal stage of life, at tender age, okay? Because this guy here acts on milk, they act on liquid protein. Remember, we don't have renin in adult human. Take note of that, okay? Their effect is known as coagulation of liquid protein, which is known as milk, okay? And this liquid protein here are known as carcinogen, okay? When running out on this liquid protein, it means that it's going to convert carcinogen here to casein, okay? Renin convert carcinogen to casein, or you can say it coagulates carcinogen into casein. Do you understand? Do you understand? Okay. Now, this guy here, pepsinogen here, which is converted to pepsin, we act on protein. This is solid protein. Okay. Then we convert protein to peptide, polypeptide, and peptone. Okay. Pepsin and trypsin act on protein and convert protein to peptide, polypeptide, and peptone. Okay? Then another enzyme activator in the small intestine, we activate this guy here, the erepsinogen, and convert erepsinogen to erepsin. Okay, and erepsin here, we act on casein, act on peptide, polypeptide, and peptones. Okay, and convert casein, peptide, polypeptide, and peptone. It will convert them to amino acid. Okay, it will convert them into amino acid. Do you understand? Every protein comprises of amino acid, and the most abundant, the most common amino acid we have in proteins or we have in food are glutamine and glutamate. Okay? The most abundant amino acid we have in food are glutamine and glutamate. We have other ones like aspartates, glycine, and alanine. All these are common proteins we have. Okay, common amino acid we have in proteins. Okay, so now from what I've explained so far, digestion of protein starts here in the stomach and end in the small intestine. Okay, remember, pancreas produces trypsin in form of trypsinogen before it is activated into trypsin by enterokinase produced by the Bruch border of the duodenum. Okay, then the pepsin here is produced by the Schwann cells along with renin. Okay, but this pepsin is produced in form of pepsinogen. Okay, it is later converted into pepsin by hydrochloric acid produced by the parietal cells in the stomach, which works as an enzyme activator. Okay, then erepsin is produced by the small intestine. The pepsin and trypsin act on solid proteins and convert them into peptide, polypeptide, and peptone, while the renin coagulates liquid protein into casein. Erepsin here in the small intestine will act on the casein, the polypeptide, peptide, and peptones and convert them into amino acid. Okay, remember, the most abundant amino acid we have in proteins we eat are glutamine and glutamate, and other common amino acid we have in proteins are aspartate, glycine, and alanine. Okay, the next is going to be fat and oil, and that is going to be the last. for today. Okay, now let's look at digestion of fats. Okay, in the mouth we have salivary lipase produced in the mouth. Okay, we call this lipolytic enzyme. This is lipolytic enzyme is popularly known as salivary lipase produced in the mouth. Okay, digestion of fat and oil is not effective in the mouth. Okay, you can say that there is no digestion of fat and oil in the mouth because the effect is very slight. Okay, the fats need to be broken down by bile produced by the liver. Okay, this bile which is produced by the liver are stored in the gallbladder. Okay, what is the effect of this bile on the fat and oil? Okay, this bile here, listen, when the fat food are taken down to the stomach, okay, the acidic content here in the gastric juice will also help to facilitate digestion. Okay, but most of the fat digestion occurs in the small intestine. That is the site for effective chemical digestion of fat in the body because the fat needed to be emulsified by bile. The effect of bile on fat and oil is known as emulsification, okay, which is the breaking down of fats into their droplets form. Okay, the bile emulsifies fats to break the solid fats into their droplets form. Okay, and this guy here, the pancreas, is the organ that plays the key role of fat digestion. Okay, the pancreas here produces pancreatic lipase which emptied into the duodenum. I said most of the fat digestion takes place in the duodenum. Then the intestinal glandular cells, these are the cells that are secretory in function. We secrete intestinal juice, which contains lipase. Okay? Now, this intestinal lipase and the pancreatic lipase will now act on these emulsified fats and convert the fat into glycerol and fatty acid. Okay? This fat here is converted, that is emulsified fat, that has been emulsified by bile. Okay, now the intestinal lipase and the pancreatic lipase will now act on this emulsified fat and convert it into glycerol and into fatty acid. Okay, please take note of this. This fat in the mouth, the fat in the food are taken in form of triglyceride. Okay, it's taken into the body in form of triglyceride. This is the form fat is taken into the body in food. Okay, remember the effect of fat digestion in the mouth is very, very slight. Okay, it's as good as saying that there is no digestion there because the fat has not been emulsified. Okay, in the stomach, the gastric juice, the enzyme, the hydrochloric acid here in the stomach will also help to facilitate the digestion, but that effect is not effective until this fat will be emulsified by the bile produced by the liver, and the bile is stored in the gallbladder. They emptied into the duodenum through the bile ducts. It triggers emulsification of fat, where fat is broken down into their droplet form, and that is where the pancreas here, the glandular cells of the small intestine, and the pancreatic cells, the two will produce pancreatic lipids and intestinal lipids, which will now act on these emulsified fats and convert them into glycerol and fatty acid, which are the end products of fats and oil digestion. Okay, I hope this video helps you for your exams. Please, this is all we have for now. Thank you and God bless you. Okay, please don't forget to subscribe to our channel.